Hey guys, it's Fred. just got a bunch text messages from various people that's been following the Buford Pusser saga. International Association Chiefs Police Organization. You might not be able to see that guy there real good. Got his hand over his face, swearing them in. Who is that? Who is that fella? David Rausch, Director, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. They just swore him in as president of the International Association Chiefs of Police in America. Years ago, I belonged to that organization. I've got certificates downstairs that I will now take off the wall. No longer. That is a sad day. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, just me speaking. You know, back when they first come out with the Buford Pusser news conference, where they held a news conference and through public opinion, a microphone in the news media, they convicted Buford Pusser of killing his wife. Because all they had to do was make the accusation. What's he going to do? How can he defend against that? And then they come out with a TBI report, which is nothing more than Mike Elam's book, with an investigator going through and putting his name on it, changing each chapter, but the same version, you might as well copied it out of the book. We got some videos coming out. We interviewed a fellow yesterday, used to be a deputy sheriff for Buford Pusser. He says they quoted him wrong, that they said stuff in there that wasn't true. Really? Who would have thought it? It's just a TBI. Who would have thought that they would have put something in a report that wasn't true? Who would have thought that we would have a reenactment done that's nowhere near anything that anybody, especially Buford Pusser, who was the only one there. I don't think any of the assassins have ever come forward and said, here, I'll tell you what happened. So on whose authority, on whose word? Because the so-called statement they have was written by Warren Jones. That's nothing more than a synopsis of what he says happened. That's not what Buford says. Buford has no signed, sworn, witnessed, dated, letterhead statement out there. Guys, in that first video we made, I'll put this on me. In that first video, I said this was for fame, fortune, and name notoriety. Name notoriety, because we were told that one of these gentlemen had in mind to run for governor of Tennessee at some point. Don't know if that's true or not. Probably is, from what we're seeing here. If this one here's done been promoted and got him a little more prestige under the collar. And that's what I tell you about these titles. I've told you, you can take these titles and 50 cents and buy you a Coca-Cola. Sad. Fame and fortune was for Oakley and Mike Elam, Dennis Hathcock, people like that that's trying to make $1 on bus tours or podcasts or books. Name notoriety is people that want to move up. They have political ambitions. They have professional desires that they want to. And I said in that first video, I said they've just stolen every bit of the reputation. They've destroyed the reputation of Buford Pusser, and they have stolen every bit of his glory that he ever acquired. Now, Buford was somewhat like this guy here. Buford was in the news, rightly so. He was busting people, putting them in jail, cleaning up a county. This guy here, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what the head of the TBI, the director of the TBI does I don't know how that works. I wouldn't know that line of how you can have people underneath you and you have a directive or you have a direction of travel or a narrative that you say, because you can look at the reenactment, you can look at the statements, you can look, anybody that's got anything good to say about Buford, you don't see that. you're only going to see the bad. And that bad comes from Mike Elam's books. It's not hard to see the direction that this investigation wanted to go. Guys, they lost any kind of evidence dealing with that assassination of and attempted murder of Buford, assassination of his wife. They lost any evidence dealing with that. Now, sometimes you can lose evidence for good. Maybe the evidence was going to point in the opposite direction and nobody ever wanted that to come up. So it's best if that evidence just gets lost. We don't have that evidence. That might be exculpatory evidence. That might prove that Buford didn't do it. So we lose this evidence. We lose this file. We lose. How does that happen? How does a man that's in charge of a police law enforcement agency that was once considered one of Tennessee's top, was once, I don't know that it will ever be again, because they have lowered the standards. They have lowered the mark that you can take and indict, accuse, allege, convict a person's character and his reputation through a microphone and through the news media. And now they promote you. They give you the president. Now, this is not I don't think it's a paid position. Like I said, I used to belong. I used to pay my dues. When I was a chief of police, I did all that. They send you a nice certificate to put on the wall. International Association Chiefs of Police. And he is the new president, and he represents all the police chiefs. He talks for, you're liable to see him at the White House meeting Donald Trump before long. I hope somebody does some research and sends Donald Trump the background on this fella before he ever makes over him like he's a hero, because this is not a hero, at least not in my opinion. I can just speak for myself. This is a zero. This is why we have police officers out here now doing the things that they're doing, acting the way they're acting. This is why, because of administrators like this. If you expect your man to be honorable and have good character and integrity, and you've got to have a leader that has it. This is not somebody with, in my opinion, let me throw my opinion in there, guys, which really, again, I don't, at this stage in life, I'm so disgusted with what's happened to our law enforcement field, law enforcement professionals, supposedly. This is your leadership. This is the head of the Association of Chiefs of Police. This is the president, and he just come on TV in a news conference last month and said that Buford Pusser, hey, let's leave Buford Pusser out. Let's just not even mention the name. Now, that's what he wanted. That's the reason he done Buford Pusser. You don't see him doing John Doe, Smekatoli. You didn't see him accusing him. You seen him doing a 58-year background investigation because the man was famous. But let's say that he just went on stage with Mark Davison and accused a dead man with no evidence. They've lost the evidence. Any evidence that was ever there, they've lost. They've lost the blood. They've lost the bullets. They've lost the projectiles. They've lost the shell casings, the empty spent casings. They've lost the car. They've lost... Somebody said, well, they didn't lose the car. They gave it back. They gave it back. The TBI had possession of that car for as long as they wanted it. Buford was in the hospital for the first 18 days. They could have done anything they wanted to that car, and did. Whatever they got, they lost it. Guys, they've slandered a man with no more evidence than Fred McCoy killed Pauline Pusser. They've done that. Then David Rausch killed Pauline Pusser. Anybody out here could be accused of murdering Pauline Pusser if that's all it takes is somebody's opinion. They can give their opinions on Buford Pusser. They can give their opinions on Fred McCoy. They can give their opinions on Donald Trump or anybody else they want to. We don't convict people in America on opinions. We convict people of crimes from evidence, from proof, from eyewitnesses. Not from hearsay, not from people that's been dead for 30 years, not from 80, 90-year-old people that we manipulate through investigations. It's just not what we do. That's not the law enforcement. When we go down this road, it's only going to get worse for generations to come. I'm not going to harp on it. I'm sorry. I just wanted to let everybody know this is the new president of the International Association of Chiefs of Police. If you have a police department, a city police department in your city, this is the president of the organization that governs a lot of directives and policies and procedures, things that come down from higher up. This is where it starts at. This is the man. This is the guy that stood up there on that stage and said, see the report. When they asked him, did the autopsy and the gun match? See the report. He knew the autopsy and the gun didn't match. They had nothing to match it to. They had nothing to match it to. They had lost all the projectiles. See, he didn't tell you that. He didn't say, no, it didn't match because there was no bullets in her head. And this bunch of... That's me grunting. Sheila's substitute teaching day. She's not even here, but I could hear her. She either kicks me or grunts. But they lost. He didn't say they've lost the evidence. He said, see the report. What's the report going to tell us? Report told us they lost the evidence. They've lost the file. They've lost the casings. He couldn't answer that reporter straightforward. Simple, straight answer, yes or no. Did the gun match? See the report. And that's who we've got, or that's who you guys have. We don't have them. We've got one almost like them here in Kentucky. It's all politics, guys. Our governors are appointing people through political favors, through political, and they're getting people like this, and that's why we're ending up with officers like we're ending up with that's on the news. Google, Kentucky State Police arrested. Google, Kentucky State Police Commissioner sued. Google. You don't have to Google it. Go to the front of my channel here, Fred McCoy 40. Go back to there and look at the Kentucky State Police. I'm starting to, as bad as I was down on the Kentucky State Police, I'm starting to think maybe we're blessed here in Kentucky that we don't have the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. All they do here in Kentucky is beat you up, make false accusations and false charges, false this and that, but goodness sakes, they go after you 58 years later. Hopefully nobody does this fella like that. Hopefully when he's dead and gone and all these awards that he's received through life and mostly political, I'm sure, because he's not an investigator. It's not hard to see that. Or if he is, I'd like to think that he's just not an investigator. I would hate to think that he really and truly did what he did, him and Mr. Davison, and actually be smart people, because that would be really, really sad. I just like to think that maybe they're just not the top of the barrel. They just maybe brought up the bottom of the class and they just made it through to... I won't be insulting. I won't be insulting. I won't do them like they did Buford Pusser and the Pusser family. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.